Hello, good evening, dear students. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, today my earphones might malfunction a little, so you let me know if my voice breaks or if some noise is coming from my background, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Abhi, the audio is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how are you all?
Good, madam.
You're good, okay. So we have, I guess, 7 participants. Shall we start or shall we wait for a few more to join? Or is this the usual number of participants?
We can start.
Hold on. Who is saying? Can you please repeat yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, Charanpreet.
Yes.
So we can start. Okay. So I hope. Hold on a minute. I hope you all are understanding whatever like we are reading or like learning in Meet, and I am proceeding with this lecture with the hope that past 3 lectures are well versed and they are on your fingertips. So today I'll be taking 3 topics, dear students. I'll be discussing cut-up parts of meat. I'll be discussing various meat quality parameters and the factors affecting them, and finally microbial spoilage of meat. All 3 topics are important, but they are not big topics. So I'll let you know. First portion is mostly rectification, that is your cut-up parts. Then second is concept building, where we'll come to various quality parameters. And the last is again a name of microbes only, so that you can read. So for today's lecture, I have selected 3 topics. So I'll proceed. So the very first topic that we are going to take is retail and wholesale cuts of meat. So we'll be discussing how to cut meat. And after you get a whole carcass, how you cut meat into different parts. Wholesale means when you're cutting meat in bulk. So like for example, this is how a wholesale cut looks in a picture. But for retail cuts, further this carcass is broken down into smaller pieces. But we'll not be reading this wholesale and retail cut up parts differently. The major cut up parts only we'll be studying, and usually they are called as wholesale cuts of meat. So before that, what you need to know about meat cutting is these are this background you always need to know, because always question is asked from this. So important points about meat cutting is the temperature of the meat cutting room should be 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. This is often asked in exam. That is why there is a blue star sitting right on its head. So the temperature of the meat cutting room should be 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. You are slaughtering the animals at room temperature in a slaughter hall or an abattoir, but when you are hanging the carcass, it is always done in a cold room, and all the meat cutting operations, they are done at this temperature. Okay. Then again, the relative humidity is another important parameter which should be taken into account. So 80% RH should be maintained in a meat cutting room. And always the meat cutting equipment should be made up of stainless steel. So these are the 3 objective questions which are often asked in exams. So I hope this slide is clear to you. There is not much concept building in this. This is just information that you need to know. Now we're moving to the first species of the animal. Wholesale cuts of lamb carcass. Lamb, you understand, the sheep. The young one of sheep is known as lamb, but in general, all the entire ovine species is referred to as lamb carcass only. Ovine, you understand? It is related to sheep. Species of sheep is ovine. Just a caprine is for goats. So similar, sheep and goat, they have same cut up part, I would say, procedures. So their cut up parts are same. So we'll go with the first point. Division of lamb carcass is done into fore saddle and hind saddle. Whenever we are cutting a sheep, this is how you are cutting the sheep. So division of lamb is done into fore saddle and hind saddle by cutting in between the last 2 ribs. So between the last 2 ribs, We'll cut the carcass from here. The last two ribs would be there. So we'll cut the carcass. So itna portion, this, can you see my cursor moving of the mouse? So this entire, I'm so sorry, my laptop does not supports this tablet mode. So this, I hope you can see my cursor moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow the movement of the cursor. This entire front portion is the foresaddle. Foresaddle, foresaddle. And this entire behind portion is the hind saddle. Hind. Hind means behind. Saddle means the part. Right? So this is done by cutting between the last two ribs. Last two ribs is important point. That is why it is underlined. Dusra cheese, this is important. Right and left side are not separated. Matlab, whenever a sheep is sacrificed, for example, if I go to the first slide, you see this carcass. Here, it is cut into right and left side. But if it is a small carcass, you will not separate the right and left sides. Okay, just say here, this is a whole carcass. Can you see the movement of the mouse? This is a whole carcass. Right now, this is not splitted, but when we have to split the carcass, हम transverse बीच से काट देते हैं. So it is cut into two equal halves. This would become the left portion of the carcass. This will become the right portion of the carcass. So this procedure is known as splitting. So in case of sheep and goat, this is not done. Often in ASRB, a question might be asked, in which of the following species splitting is not done? Splitting means splitting into right and left sides. So then you will take sheep or goat carcass. Pork may you will split, cattle, buffalo you will split, but in sheep it's not done. But in India, splitting is done as per base. But if ever any question comes in that in which species your right and left side are not separated, or in which species splitting is not done, you will take sheep or goat. This question has been asked in ASRB, so that is why I'm stressing on splitting. Now, splitting is done as per base standards in India. Then the foresaddle occupies 53% of the entire carcass and hind saddle amounts to 47%. So foresaddle is greater than hind saddle. Ye foresaddle wala jo part hai, this anterior portion is greater than the posterior portion. So this portion would have the bulk. 53% is foresaddle and 47% is the hind saddle. So now we'll come to the cut up parts. Cut up parts में आप लोगों को ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ना है. You need to know only the names of the cuts. That is it. Cut up parts is not that important. This slide is important where foresaddle and their weightages are mentioned. As it is cut up parts for sheep and goat, nobody is going to ask. The important points only I'll be telling you. So foresaddle means the cuts are neck. First cut is neck, the neck portion. Second is shoulder. So this is your neck. Then this is your shoulder followed by neck. Then rack. This is the rack followed after shoulder. Again, it covers the rib plate area. Then breast. This lower portion is the breast near the elbow of the animal. And finally is the foreshank. Foreshank area is this which contains the arm bones. So we are having in the foresaddle, head you're not eating, so it's not edible. Neck, first cut is neck, followed by shoulder. This is rack, then breast and foreshank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 portions, they come under the foresaddle of the sheep carcass or goat carcass. Then for hind saddle, there is loin, this is loin, L-O-I-N, loin. This is loin, this is the largest portion, loin. This is very tender, then followed by leg. This entire back is leg. Often it is split into two, leg A and leg B, but usually the entire cut of leg you get as it is. Then this is then followed by flank. This portion behind the breast, this area is your flank, below loin. And then suet and kidney. Suet and kidney you will not see on the carcass, but this is on the inside where somewhere the kidney is present. It is on the inside medial aspect. You will not be able to see in the picture. So this is another cut. This is another portion which is cut. And suet is the kidney fat. It is written in the coming slides. So what is suet? Suet is the kidney fat. Another important term which you need to learn here is pluck. All the respiratory tract things along with liver and heart are known as pluck. This is an important word. So larynx, trachea, lungs, heart, liver, they form the pluck. So I used to learn it as, I had made this acronym as HT-triple-L. H for heart, T for trachea, and triple L is larynx, lungs, liver. HT-triple-L is pluck for me. So often it is this term is asked in exams. And here is another point. In India, people generally go for 6 cuts. That is neck, shoulder, rack, foreshank. Like neck, shoulder, rack, foreshank and breast, it would be together. Foreshank and breast together. India में ये एक साथ काट देते हैं. Loin and leg एक साथ काट देते हैं. पूरा पोर्शन ये पीछे एक साथ काट देते हैं. So only 6 major cuts are done. But otherwise, as per USDA standards, 5 cuts in the foresaddle and 4 cuts in the hind saddle. Dear students, you will not be asked the detail of the cuts, but you just need to know the names so that you can remember that rack was present in sheep, rounds were present in beef. That is what you need to remember. Okay. So what is suet? Suet is kidney fat. What is pluck? Pluck is HT-triple-L, heart, trachea, liver, larynx, and lungs. Okay, so this is again another picture for your revision, just an understanding कि काटते कैसे हैं एक sheep को या goat को. So neck, shoulder, foreshank, rank, breast. These 5 cuts are of the foresaddle. Foresaddle 53%. Then lion, flank, leg. These are hind saddles, and kidney and sweat is not visible. Now this is detail for your further reading. If from the diagram you are not getting, when you get time and when you get this PPT, you are going to read out these lines from last cervical vertebra, it blends with the shoulder. Nobody is going to ask you this in the exam, but this is for your understanding. So I've written it here, and you can go through it. The only thing that I or any examiner would be asking is at what point foresaddle and hind saddle are separated. So between the last 2 ribs. This kind of question is asked. Nobody is going to ask you at what point neck is separated from the carcass, but पूछेंगे बीच से carcass कैसे कटता है. So foresaddle and hind saddle के बीच में, last 2 ribs के बीच में, right? So this is for your further reading. I have given. You can, if actually time will not be left if I start reading all this, but this is very simple to understand. But this is for additional reading. It doesn't hurt to read more. So this is why, that is why I have put up the explanation of the cuts, but nobody will ask this. Then wholesale cuts of poultry. This is very easy. I'm not going to explain. I will only give you the picture because you only need the names and nothing else. Poultry को कैसे काटते हैं? First option is whole bird as it is. Whole dressed bird you get. Otherwise, when we see the cuts of poultry, you get wings, the chicken wings which you eat in KFC. Then this is neck. This is often not liked. Here you will find trachea and all. If you eat meat, you might be knowing when you make chicken curry at home. This portion, mostly this bony portion, comes in terms of neck. You will not like it. And then this is the back. This is the breast. This is a massive breast of a bird. Usually a breast is smaller than this. Then this is the thigh, the leg piece of the chicken which you call, and this is leg with backwater. This is the thigh only. And piche, if you take the hip portion also, then this is leg with backwater. This is how a poultry bird is cut. This is the only detail that you need for a poultry bird. Usually, otherwise, we take full bird and dress it at homes only. But if retail cuts are to be found, wings, breast, leg, neck, back, that is it. Acha, here is one more term, giblets. Can you see on the bottom left side of the screen, giblets? Giblets are heart, gizzard, and liver. This is another term only in case of poultry. Jैसे pluck was HT-triple-L. Sonu, what was pluck? HT-triple-L. Can you expand it? Which organs would come under it?
Ma'am, pluck, HT-triple-L, H for heart, T for
Good.
trachea, and
Good.
L for larynx, I guess.
Yes.
Triple L, right? L for larynx, and the other L for B will be for
Liver.
Lungs and liver.
Lungs and liver.
Lungs and liver. Very good, dear students. So, and now for this, for giblets, you can remember it as you want, HGL or whatever. So it's heart, gizzard, and liver. In terms of poultry, this word giblets, these are not consumed usually; they're thrown away. Or some people of the lower strata of society usually purchases this. So this comes under byproducts, but people do eat it. So giblets, they come at a lower cost. They do not fetch higher price, but anyhow they can be consumed. Some people, they consume heart, liver, and gizzard. So these are giblets. Now wholesale cuts of beef carcass. Beef carcass is a big carcass, so we will do splitting. Splitting is separating left side into right side, separating the left and right side from each other. Okay, so carcass sides are separated. This means splitting is done. Then this is important. Right side is called as closed side. because जो right kidney होता है ना, it is attached to the carcass. This right kidney is does not float freely in a cow, but this left kidney is called as open. Left side is known as open side because left kidney is free. It is free in the abdomen, it hangs. But right kidney, it would adhere to the abdominal wall. So right kidney is the closed side. Right kidney wala side is the closed side, whereas left side of the cow or the cattle is known as open side because left kidney is free. Now each side is now subjected to quartering. लेफ्ट एंड राइट साइड में मैंने बांट दिया, दो हाफ हो गए कार्कस के. नाउ हाफ के बाद नेक्स्ट क्या आता है? क्वार्टरिंग. सो आई क्वार्टर, आई फर्दर कट द कार्कस. दिस इज आल्सो नोन एज रिबिंग. इसमें फोर क्वार्टर एंड हाइंड क्वार्टर आर सेपरेटेड, very much similar to that fore saddle and hind saddle of sheep, right? I would like to see your names here so that I can keep asking questions in between to make sure that you're not sleeping. Okay. So this fore quarter and hind quarter is separated by making a cut between 12th and 13th rib. Monica, can you tell me at what point we used to cut that fore saddle and hind saddle in case of ram, in case of sheep? Monica? Okay, Tanu?
Ma'am, second and third rib.
Very good. It's second and third rib. I'm so happy. Okay. Monica, where are you? Okay, I'll keep calling you names this time so that at least you remain alert during my class, because online classes can get boring at times. So I'll be questioning you. So keep your eyes and ears open. Okay. So the fore quarter and hind quarter, they are divided at the level of 12th and 13th rib. उसमें second and third rib था, right? इसमें 12th and 13th rib है. ये याद रखना है. Cuts का नाम you don't need not to remember. Just you need to know, but not cram by heart. Okay. So now quartering is been done. Four quarter आ गया and hind quarter आ गया. ये पूरा four quarter आ गया. Rib के portion पे काट दिया मैंने. 12th 13th rib यहाँ आएगा cattle का. So here the cut is made. So this is four quarter आगे वाला anterior. This is the hind quarter पीछे वाला. Now the four quarter is further cut between fifth and sixth rib. So between fifth and sixth rib, I would again cut this four quarter. So यहाँ पे 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somewhere fifth rib would come here. So here further a cut is made. Further a cut is made. This line that you can see. This at the level of fifth and sixth rib. So ये four quarter को two parts में divide करेगा. We'll get an anterior part and the posterior part. So in the anterior part we get shank, brisket, and chuck. So in the anterior part we'll get shank, brisket, and chuck. So sorry. Okay. So you'll get three things. Shank. This is the shank which contains only the bones. जैसे आपका humerus रहता है ना, बाजू जो है आपका जहाँ biceps है, that is your humerus. So this portion, this is I would say humerus of the animal. Scapula and humerus are all there. So this shank portion contains the bones. Then this is brisket. It is very delicious cut of cattle. It is highly demanded. Smoked briskets are a delicacy in abroad. Not, I don't know whether in India people are consuming. Then chuck. So ये anterior part है. This is the anterior part of the fore quarter, and where this line is cutting at fifth and sixth rib. Understood? And then in the posterior part we get rib and plate. These are the ribs. Beef ribs, they are very common. They are delicacy. They are served at higher price in restaurants, in high-end restaurants. And then this is short plate. So this is entire four quarter. Sorry, yeah. This is entire four quarter. कहाँ कटा? 15th and 16th rib पे. I hope you guys are understanding. ठीक है?
Distance.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that was a response, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Charanpreet. So this is in the four quarter. At fifth and sixth level, again I would cut into anterior and posterior part of four quarter. Anterior may we get three parts: chuck, brisket, and shank. And in the posterior part, I get rib and short plate. Okay. Then further, these are the cuts that you need. Only the name you need to remember. That there is lion, there is rump, there is round. This is flank. Flank, aapko, you got it in mutton also. Flank is common in this cattle carcass and lamb carcass. Round and rump are unique to beef. Okay. At times, round is a cut of dash, and the species would be mentioned. So that is the kind of questions that are asked. So you need not to know at what point exactly they are being cut. But since this is mentioned in BD Sharma, and often the examiners decide papers using that core book of this meat science. So that is why I have mentioned as it is, these three lines are taken from there. And this very first slide is important. It's important. So you need to read, go through it and remember it. Then this is again for your further reading. You can read what all these parts elaborate into when you get time. And if you do not understand, I would be more than happy to take your doubts. But right now, I am going to skip this part. Okay. Only the names you need to know. But yaad rakhna hai, rump in cattle, round in cattle. These are the names of the cuts that you need to remember. Only the names. So again, this is chuck, this is brisket, rib, short plate, foreshank. Can Shelja tell me where my cursor is moving at what level? What is the number of the ribs here? At which level this line is moving? Shelja P.
5th and 6th, ma'am.
Very good, Shelja. Fifth. Who answered? Did Shelja answer or did Chanpreet answer?
Shailaja.
Shelja only answered. Okay. Okay. So this is the anterior part of the forequarter. And Monica, are you there? Dear Monica. Okay, so Monica has muted the call and I have no clue whether she's listening to the lecture or not. Monica, after every 5 minutes, I'll keep calling your name until you answer. Anyways, so this is the rib, this is the short plate. Now this line, Kirti, can you tell me which line is this? This line. This line.
14th to 15th rib line.
Which rib?
14th to 15th rib.
बेटा गाय में
12th and
13
13.
ribs ही नहीं होते हैं.
Oh, sorry.
Guy has 13 ribs.
Okay.
This is 12 to 13 ribs.
Okay.
Last and second last rib के बीच में we cut. ठीक है?
Okay. Okay.
Cow is having
I'm
13
mistaken.
ribs. Horse
I'm
is having
mistaken.
18 ribs. है ना?
Okay. Okay. I'm mistaken with that sentence of yours.
Okay, quite
I was
good.
a bit confused.
Okay. So this is between 12th and 13th rib
12th
you are
and-
cutting to get
okay.
the forequarter and the hind quarter. Okay.
Forefoot and hand.
So you have
Okay.
understood round, sirloin, short loin, and flank. These are and flank is common to lamb carcass as well. अब हम बढ़ रहे हैं आगे. Okay, this again the slide is important. Okay, पर question आ जाता है. From hind quarter, first remove kidney knob. Kidney knob along with the adjoining fat. Kidney along with the adjoining fat is known as kidney knob. I should have highlighted this. Please read it again. Please, when you are reading this line, do remember kidney knob is an important objective question. In which species you get kidney knob and what is kidney knob? Kidney along with the fat is known as kidney knob. Okay. Or flank, this is again for further reading, leftover cut which can be sectioned into round. Flank को ना और काट दें तो round बन जाता है further. Otherwise पूरा this is flank area. But flank को further काट के round निकाल लिया जाता है. Lion into anterior short loin and posterior sirloin. Loin. It's not lion, it's loin. So loin को further, this entire is loin. So anterior वाले को short loin and posterior वाले को sirloin कहा जाता है. I'll tell you a story here. Do you know why it is called as sirloin? I'll tell you.
No.
You know, in English people, the Britishers, there the title of sir is given to very people who are great or who have done very good things or who have achieved something. Like they bestowed this title upon on Rabindranath Tagore as well. He was bestowed with the title of Sir Rabindranath Tagore. Right. So sir is when you're giving somebody respect. So this title of sirloin was given to this cut of meat because it's very delicious and it's very tender. So that people, they liked it so much that they bestowed it with the title of sir, as if this cut of meat, this specific cut of meat has achieved that mark of greatness. So I hope you'll remember this story while remembering this cut. This is sirloin. And this same cut you'll get in pork also, because beef and pork are very common in European nations and American countries. It's very common. So it's the Britishers, they came up with this term, the English people. So they bestowed the title of sir upon this cut. They liked it so much. उनको इतना पसंद आया कि my God, this has to be called as sir. This has to be treated with respect. And it was a very expensive cut at that point of time. It is still an expensive cut because it's very tender and it's very delicious to eat. Okay, moving on. Now loin, as I told you, it is anterior short loin and posterior sirloin. Sir, I've told you the story also. So this is another picture for your further buffalo cuts. These are major cuts I've told you, na? And then there are small cuts, retail cuts, but we need not to go into that detail because of one, retail market, retail cutting of meat or retail availability is not that popular in India. And secondly, from your examination of point of view, it is not important. Trust me on that. So now we are moving on to the next species. I want to skip the cuts quickly so that I can come to the concept building wala portion. Anyways, wholesale cuts of pork carcass. So again, first line divided into right and left side, splitting is done. Okay, Monica. So after every 2-3 slides that we are going to call out Monica. I hope she listens. I hope she replies. So okay, so wholesale cuts of pork meat, you need to remember that pork is divided into right and left side. So splitting is done. Splitting is done in beef. Splitting is done in your pork, but splitting is not done in sheep and goat. Now, front feet are removed 1 inch above the knee. So 1 inch above the knee, you will remove the feet and hind feet at the lower edge of hock, and you get 6 cuts. And each side is subjected to 6 cuts. That is, right side say you will get 6 cuts and left side say you will get 6 cuts. Pork mein, cuts of pork are very important and they're often asked in exams. Anterior part is called as rough shoulder, and it is separated from the posterior part by cutting between the second and third rib. So second and third rib ke level pe, just like sheep and goat carcass, again this carcass would be cut into 2 halves. Aage wala is called as rough shoulder, and rough shoulder is made into 3 cuts: jowl, butt and picnic. ये इसको आगे लेके जाएंगे, अभी मैं समझाती हूँ. See, this is this line before loin. This line, this is the second and third rib. At the level of the second and third rib, this cut is being made. So this is splitting the carcass, halving the carcass into the anterior part. This entire is known as rough shoulder. ROUGH, rough shoulder. ये पूरा कंधा आ गया ना इसका, ठीक है? कंधा, you understand? Shoulder. Then this is the posterior part. Entire from here we'll talk about carcass later. यहाँ से this rough shoulder is divided into 3 major parts. Boston butt. First part is, this is towards the head you will get jowl, JOWL. Then this is Boston butt and picnic shoulder. So basically this is entire shoulder blade. Now here is the catch. The word is butt. Butt means the hind quarter. But still this is confusing, but you need to remember this butt stands for shoulder. It is a cut of shoulder. So pick up Boston butt. Don't be confused. What is the location of the Boston butt? Don't go to this portion. Don't go to the butt of the pig. Okay? You will not go to the hind quarter of the pig. This is confusing, but you need to remember butt यहाँ पे shoulder के साथ है. And again, one more thing that you need to remember, that for this thing, let me just cross check in this. Okay. This Boston butt na and this picnic shoulder, basically shoulder के parts हैं. This is, अगर मैं पूरे shoulder को 2 parts में divide करूँ, so this Boston butt amounts to 1/3 and rest 2/3 of the shoulder is your picnic shoulder, and jowl is towards the head. ठीक है? So this is 1/3, this is 2/3. Together they will make the shoulder, right? So you get 3 cuts in the front, that is jowl, Boston butt, which is 1/3 of the shoulder, and picnic shoulder, which is 2/3 of the shoulder. So normal shoulder.
Can you
Yeah.
just repeat once more, ma'am?
Okay, I will repeat once again.
Okay.
See, what happens is the carcass of the pig. Guys, I'm putting myself on mute. Give me a second, please. Hello. Yes, sir. I am so sorry, students. I had to take an urgent call. I'm so sorry. So coming back to the cuts of pork. देखो, ध्यान से सुनो मेरी बात. Pork को हमने right and left side में काटा, right? Splitting is done. ठीक है? Now you need to remember that at the level of second and third rib, will cut the carcass into halves. Anterior part, posterior part. Anterior part में you will get this entire is known as rough shoulder. But just the term is used, forget rough shoulder. You just remember that this is shoulder. 1/3, ऊपर वाला 1/3 is Boston butt. but do not be confused with the terminology, but that ये shoulder का cut है, पीछे hind quarter का नहीं है. You need to remember this. ठीक है. And then picnic shoulder. So 3 कट है आगे, एक जाउल है which is towards the neck, then neck को जाउल कह दो. Then shoulder में Boston butt, it is 1/3 of the shoulder and picnic shoulder is 2/3. So Boston butt और picnic shoulder में से कौन बड़ा हुआ? सोनू?
Shoulder.
Picnic shoulder.
Picnic shoulder is a greater cut. Picnic shoulder is a bigger cut. ठीक है. And Harshita, can you tell me at what level we are slicing this carcass? At which rib level I'm separating this anterior and posterior part, beta?
Second and third.
Very good. Second and third. Okay. I'm glad everybody is attentive. उसके बाद these further cuts are known as loin. Again, this is common to the beef carcass. पता है इसमें भी sirloin is present, sir tenderloin, because it's very tender. So, but that is not important. That is just a side reference. Then this is spare rib. Side, ये जो red हो रखा है, this side is also known as belly, and this is the most important cut. One of the most important cuts. This is the entire hind quarter. The hind quarter, which contains the leg and the hip portion, this is known as ham. जो आप hamburger नहीं खाते हैं, आप नहीं खाते हैं, here in India it's not popular, but like ham is basically thigh of the pig. Hind quarter of the pig is ham. This is the largest cut of the pig carcass. It is considered as one of the most important cuts of the pig carcass.
Ma'am,
Yes.
it includes the leg also.
Yes, it includes the leg till here. यहाँ white chalk mark गया है ना, the thigh.
Okay.
It will include the hind quarter, this hip area, and the entire thigh. Femur bone रहता है ना, जैसे your thigh contains femur bone. Similarly, pig का thigh bone also contains femur. So उसके femur के around जितना भी muscle है, till its hip area, this entire is ham. Okay. And this side or this belly portion, which is in red, this belly portion gives you one of the most delicious cuts of pig, which is known as bacon. Bacon you get from belly. When the belly meat, it is incised into thin strips. I don't know whether you might be knowing or not, but then it is sliced into thin strips and you get bacon out of the belly of the pig. So bacon and ham you get from pig. These are very
Basically,
important questions.
these two are the fat portions of the pig, I think.
Not fat, muscles.
Muscle portion. Okay.
Muscles. Meat is muscle. Whenever I'm talking about meat, it is muscle, but it is having tissues. It is having connective tissue. So connective tissue has fat also, and some amount of epithelial tissue is there. Some amount of nervous tissue is there. But basically, your meat is muscle.
Oh.
So whenever we are talking about ham, it is the muscles that you're consuming, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now this is further detail. If you want to read, oh, here it is. Here I've written. You need not to worry. Here I've written. The jowl is cut close to the neckline. Boston butt, upper third of the skin shoulder. Picnic shoulder is lower second 2/3 of the shoulder. Ham is cut between second and third sacral vertebra. Then belly or the lower middle portion between picnic shoulder and ham. So picnic shoulder and ham ke beech mein, this entire portion is belly. And here from belly you get bacon. Please note it down somewhere. Belly of the pig, the meat which you get from belly of the pig, that is split into thin sections which you eat as bacon. You don't eat, you might not be eating, but people do eat it. And it's a very rejoiced cut of a pig. So this is for your further reading. Okay. So Kirti, can you tell me which is this second, this number 2 stands for which cut? Come on, Kirti, you can do it.
Boston butt.
Very good. Very good. Tanu, can you tell me which is this number 3?
Picnic shoulder.
Shoulder, ma'am.
Shoulder, picnic shoulder. Okay. Charanpreet, you tell me what is number 5?
Ma'am, belly.
Belly, very good. And Shailja, are you there? Can you tell me which is number 6?
Ham, ma'am.
Ham, very good. I'm so happy. 1 is not important, so I'm not asking. It's jowl. Let's move ahead. Okay, so now we are coming to the topic which I am really interested in. Factors affecting meat quality. Here, my dear students, we'll be building some concepts. So you need to be with me on this one. Kuch nahi samajh mein aaye, you stop me in between and I'll repeat. Okay. So I hope cut up parts are clear. I tried to be as thorough as I could be. But anyhow, if you have any doubt, no, before the class, every week when we meet, before the class, 5 to 10 minutes I can spare for your doubts. I'll be more than happy to. Okay. So you can always take the doubts of the previous class in the initial 5 to 10 minutes till all the students are gathering. Okay. So factors affecting meat quality. In order to understand the factors affecting meat quality, we need to understand how do we define meat quality. Meat quality में parameters का क्या आता है जो affect हो जाते हैं. So first meat quality parameter is color. ठीक है. The color of the meat is extremely important. इसको it is graded into 3 categories, that is the hue, chroma and value. Hue is the primary color that दिख कैसा रहा है, what hue, red hue है, yellow hue है, orange दिख रहा है, purple दिख रहा है, कैसा मीट मुझे दिख रहा है, the color, so the primary color is hue. ठीक है, this is asked in exams, so you need to listen carefully. Then there is chroma. The third parameter of color is chroma. Intensity. मान लो pink है, so whether it is salmon pink, old rose pink, baby pink, sharp pink, hot pink, magenta pink. We don't have any boys in the class, no? Otherwise, they would have had their head spinning at so many things. Anyways, so chroma is the intensity, with what intensity that color is present, and then the value. Value is brightness, how bright that color is. So these 3 parameters, whenever we are measuring the color of meat using equipments, you have various equipments for measuring colors of food and food products. So similarly for meat, like most commonly we use Hunter color lab, usually in a lab. So they give you the hue, chroma and values. So of meat color are based on the quantity of principal muscle pigment, that is myoglobin. So okay. So meat का color किस वजह से आता है? It is because of myoglobin and its chemical state. Now pigment is myoglobin, and because of its chemical state, the color is going to vary. This is for your information that myoglobin usually it is present. It has ferrous ion usually. ठीक है? So when it's not holding oxygen, it is purplish in color. Meat अगर मैं anaerobic condition में रख दूंगी ना, it will turn purple. But as soon as meat comes in contact with the oxygen, it is oxidized. ठीक है? So again, this is +2 state only of iron, okay, but it is holding oxygen. So what will happen? The meat will turn bright red in color. This is known as bloom, BLOOM. This is a very important term. What is bloom in meat? Oxymyoglobin, the pigment which is formed. Can you see below this cut of steak, below this meat, it's written oxymyoglobin. Oxy means oxygen. Myoglobin to myoglobin hai. Myoglobin in natural state is purple in color. When it comes in contact with oxygen, it turns bright red. This steak is bright red in color. So, okay, where was that? So, oxymyoglobin, often it is asked, what is bloom? Bloom is basically oxymyoglobin. Whenever meat comes in contact with oxygen, bright red color aata hai, bahut sundar color aa jata hai meat ka. That is oxymyoglobin. Then there is another pigment. This is brownish pigment, metmyoglobin, and it is where myoglobin is holding water. Here the state of iron is Fe3 positive. It turns from ferrous to ferric. Okay. Now the typical color of meat for various species is, so the typical color for mutton and chicken is light to dark red in color. So this is light to dark red in color. Then there is pork. It is grayish pink. Like, see, it's slightly dullish. This pork is slightly dullish. So it's grayish pink color. Poultry is gray white to dull red. You might have very commonly seen raw chicken meat, so that is understood. And buffalo meat is cherry red in color. Okay, so meat can be graded according to the different colors. Then, this is further for your further reading and understanding. So myoglobin constitutes about 80 to 90% of the total meat pigments. Which is the pigment of meat? Myoglobin. Okay, and then cutting or exposure to air, the myoglobin is oxygenated. Oxygen binds to myoglobin and oxymyoglobin is formed. Whenever an animal dies and you cut the animal and you keep it in air, the meat will react with oxygen present in the environment and it will form a very bright red color, which is known as bloom. Here it is mentioned in your slide, which is very much desired by the consumer. It aesthetically it is important for the purchasing this thing, for the purchase of the meat, for consumer acceptability. Now, less oxygen, partial vacuum or semi-permeable package, myoglobin as well as oxymyoglobin is oxidized to brown colored myoglobin. If now there is, if you reduce the oxygen and if there is vacuum, or the semi-permeable package is there, that means oxygen is not able to come in contact freely with the meat. Then brownish discoloration of meat will occur because of metmyoglobin. This brown colored streak which you saw here, this is metmyoglobin. So this is formed. Name of the pigment you need to remember: metmyoglobin, brown color; myoglobin, purple color; oxymyoglobin, bright red color. This you need to remember. So in order to prevent the formation of brown color, fresh meat is often packed in films with very good oxygen transmission rate. हमको क्या चाहिए? Once we are cutting the meat, we need it to appear bright or we need it to appear in a acceptable color, which is red color, which is bright red color. So whenever we are packing the meat, we need to pack fresh meat in aerobic packaging or in films which are having very good gas transmission rate or oxygen transmission rate, so that oxygen can freely come in contact with the meat and maintain the desired color of the meat. Understood? So in this slide, bloom is important, metmyoglobin color is important. Moving on. Next important quality parameter is water holding capacity of the meat. Water holding capacity means the ability to retain water during application of physical forces. External physical forces. Andar se nahi aayega force. The force always has to be external. So the capacity of meat to retain its inherent water during the application of physical forces is known as water holding capacity, WHC. It's different from water activity, which is the amount of water which is available for microbes to carry out their functions. Anyways, so it contributes to the juiciness of cooked meat besides influencing its texture and color. If meat is having good water holding capacity, the meat is juicy, the meat is tender. But if it is having poor water holding capacity, then that is undesirable. The meat would be exudative. Now, the fresh meat with a good water holding capacity is less prone to shrinkage during storage. देखो ना, I try and understand this line. Fresh meat का अगर water holding capacity अच्छा है, it is able to hold its water. So when we'll store it, the meat will not shrink. If the meat shrinks, it will ooze out the water. But if the meat is having good water holding capacity, वो रोक के रखेगा ना meat के अंदर पानी को. समझ रहे हैं आप? So water रहेगा तो उसका turgor रहेगा, so it will be firm. I go ahead with an understanding that most of you like understand Hindi. At times I incorporate Hindi words so that you might be able to understand better. But if you want me to discontinue that practice, kindly let me know. Then I'll conduct my entire lecture in English only, right? Okay. So whenever you have some language problem, you guys are going to stop me in between and I will repeat or rephrase that. Anyways, so fresh meat, I hope you understood this line. Fresh meat with a good water holding capacity is less prone to shrinkage during storage. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So now the next point is water holding capacity of meat is very important in processing where meat is subjected to physical forces such as cutting, grinding, filling, pressing, heating. हमें क्यों चाहिए water holding capacity? Because if meat is not having good water holding capacity, the entire water will ooze out and your meat would be left as firm and dry. ठीक है? So what happens is that good water holding capacity gives good resistance and the meat maintains its shape. Otherwise, the meat would become loose and measly. So both PSC and DFT, which we'll be discussing in the coming slides, they are not desirable qualities because they mess up the water holding capacity. DFD increases the water holding capacity, PSC decreases the water holding capacity, and the ideal water holding capacity of water is not there, of meat is not there. So both these conditions are messing with the water holding capacities of meat, but we'll come to that in the coming slides. Okay, so water constitutes about 76% of fresh meat. This we have discussed in the very initial classes. Then water exists in three different forms: free water, immobilized water, bound water. Mostly your water is free. So the water molecules are held by capillary forces which make up the free water. This is the water which is coming out. So you apply minor physical force and water is coming out. Then middle layer of water molecules, it is in bound form with the biomolecules. What biomolecules? You have proteins, you have fat, you have carbohydrates in meat. So this water remains in bound, immobilized water. It remains in contact with the proteins. And the final, in very less amount, 4 to 5% water molecules are tightly bound, which can never come out. this water never leaves the meat tissue. Okay, because hydrophilic interactions are there, they are very strong. So this water is not free to escape by under the application of any physical force. So तीन form में meat में पानी present है, free form, immobilized form. Free form is actually free, no interaction. Immobilized, it is interacting with the proteins, but it is not bound. It is not making complexes. It is not sharing any bond. And then the bound water, this is bound by the maximum force in meat tissue. Okay.
Ma'am, is immobilized water is also removed during drying of the meat?
It can be. Some portion of it is removed.
Okay.
Okay. Now, see, this is what DFD and PSC does to water holding capacity. We'll come to PSC, DFD, what is PSC, DFD. But see, this meat is having very poor water holding capacity. So देखो कितना, when I apply force, so much of water is coming out of this meat. This is normal meat. This is the normal water holding capacity. Less water will come out. And this here, the water holding capacity has increased very much that no water is coming out. This is the dark firm dry. This is PSC. Both of these are not desirable. But this meat will be more firm because इसमें ज़्यादा पानी incorporated रहता है. We'll come to it in the coming slides. Then you'll understand. We'll take up DFD and PSC in thorough detail today. Okay. So the next important meat quality parameter is marbling. It is often asked in exams, what is marbling? So the intramuscular fat which is present in the tissue is known as marbling. And this is intramuscular fat.
Yes, ma'am. This question was asked, marbling.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
definition.
Okay. So the intramuscular fat which is present inside the muscle. Intra matlab andar. Inter means in between. Right? If between two muscles it is present, that is intermuscular fat. But this is within a muscle. This is a single muscle. This you white streaks of fat that you can see, they are present within a muscle. Within means intra, not inter. Intra. Mind my words. Intra. So intramuscular fat which is visible is known as marbling. Okay. And whenever this meat solidification of this fat during chilling contributes to the firmness of meat, fat jam jata hai. Okay. So that it gives that firm texture to the meat which is desirable. So in as per USDA standards, see, these are three type of meats. This is prime, this is choice, this is select. These are the grades of meat that you'll be seeing. So this is having so much of marbling. This is having higher intramuscular fat. दे बाहर जो है ना, this is intermuscular fat. This अंदर वाला is marbling. This is intramuscular fat. Okay. And in exams, often it is asked, like somebody pointed out, that marbling is intramuscular fat. It was asked. Often this also can be asked, what is seam fat? So opposite of marbling is seam fat. Seam fat is intermuscular fat. That is why a blue star is sitting over here, because this is important. Whenever in my presentation you see a blue star, you are not supposed to forget those things, right? So intramuscular fat is marbling. Now, marbling karta kya? Yes.
USDA, can you expand this?
Okay. So USDA is United Nations.
United States के वो standards हैं.
United States के standards है USDA Department of Agriculture, right? USDA, US Department of Agriculture. So they give, जैसे हमारा BIS रहता है ना, अब तो हमारा FSSAI हो गया सब, ठीक है? We are following FSSAI, but in United Nations, USDA gives the standards. These are the meat grades that they give. Prime is very good, then followed by select, then followed by choice. Followed prime, choice, and then select. Prime is expensive, so this is expensive cut of meat. Then choice, which is intermediate, and then select. So these are the three. Grading of meat is done likewise, but grading of meat is not there in the syllabus. So I have not taken up that detail. So intramuscular fat marbling, bhulenge nahi hum. Intermuscular fat, seam fat. This also we're not going to forget. Now, marbling enables the meat to bear the impact of comparatively high cooking temperatures. It increases the meat resistance of meat to processing. Marbled meat would be more juicy, more desirable. But in these days, people are turning fitness conscious, so where people are going in for lean meats these days. Otherwise, if you want to go for tasty meat, and consumers really like this juicy meat, but depends what kind of consumer we are dealing with. If somebody is health or fitness conscious, they would go for lean meats. So आजकल two type of meat, meat animals are being reared. One are lean meat animals and one are fatty meat animals. Now the trend is shifting towards lean meat. Acha, this also you need to remember that out of all the species, mutton has the highest intramuscular fat. Highest marbling is present in mutton. Highest marbling is present in sheep. Not in goat, not in beef, not in pork, not in poultry. Highest marbling is present in mutton. You will not forget this. Okay. So this is again the slide I have taken up to give you a better view. So again, the prime, choice and select. Prime grade is the more priced grade. This is more desirable grade. Then choice, this is slightly at a lower price than the prime grade. And finally, this is select grade. Okay. इसमें बिल्कुल भी marbling नहीं है in the last one. Now, these two conditions are also asked in exam. I'll just keep track of time also. Okay. So these two conditions are asked in exams, cold shortening and thaw rigor. So we'll be dealing with these conditions. Again, they affect the meat quality parameters. Now you'll understand with me what is cold shortening. So cold shortening is a defect which occurs in meat. It is not desirable. Cold means temperature would be less. Shortening means meat would shrink, meat would contract, and we do not want that to happen. So when it occurs, when pre-rigor meat is fast chilled below 15 degrees Celsius. So pre-rigor means rigor mortis has not yet occurred. The animal died, rigor aaya hi nahi, only before that we are freezing the meat, and when it is fast chilled below 15 degrees Celsius. So below 15 degrees Celsius, quickly I am freezing the meat. Then there is shortening of muscles under low temperature. This shortening or contraction is more at 0 degrees Celsius and still more at -2 degrees Celsius. So as you'll keep on dropping the temperature, the shortening would keep on increasing. However, it is minimum at 14 to 21 degrees Celsius. So whenever you are chilling the meat, so this is a temperature which should be maintained. Below this, the meat would start shortening. So at 40% shortening, which is quite common, meat becomes very tough and large quantity of meat juices are exuded. And now, however, in case cold shortening exceeds more than 40%, the Z lines are disrupted and meat becomes soft and tender. 40% तक shortening होती है. The shrink would occur and the meat would contract. But if I'm further subjecting it to cold temperatures, after 40% shortening, what will happen? The Z lines would disrupt. The Z lines would break, and the structure of muscle would no longer be held. Its architecture would be destroyed. So the water would be released from the bonds. The immobilized water would be released because so much of shortening is occurred. Then the meat would become soft and tender. So in the meat plant, cold shortening can be avoided by keeping the meat above 14 degrees Celsius for sufficient time to pass the rigor state. So how this cold shortening can be avoided? Once the animal is dead, you will not immediately lower the temperature to less than 14 degrees Celsius. Till rigor mortis is passed, you need to keep the carcass at temperatures in this ideal range, 14 to 21 degrees Celsius, so that rigor mortis comes and passes. Because if you are freezing the cold, if you are chilling the pre-rigor meat, cold shortening will occur. Your meat is going to shrink. Your meat is going to become undesirable. This is a defect in meat. It is a defect in meat which would be encountered when pre-rigor meat is brought at a temperature which is lower than 14 to 15 degrees Celsius. Understood? And इसमें 40% shortening हो जाती है मसल का. ठीक है? Then this is another condition, thaw rigor. Ab thaw rigor means I am thawing the rigor meat. Rigor means stiffening. You remember I taught you rigor mortis. So rigor means stiffening. Thaw means while thawing, something is stiffening. This is another defect in meat. So when pre-rigor meat is frozen, pre-rigor meat आपने freeze कर दिया, उसमें cold shortening होगा, ठीक है? But when you are thawing the meat, the rigor mortis would come because calcium ions would be secreted again. That mechanism would, because rigor was arrested. आया ही नहीं था rigor. So when you will thaw this meat, severe shortening is seen, severe contraction is seen, and this contraction is up to the extent of 60 to 80% of the original length of the unrestrained muscle. In cold shortening, it was up to 40%. ठीक है? In thaw rigor, this happens when we are thawing the meat. That happens when we are chilling the meat. There is a difference between the two, and it is often asked in exams. ठीक है. So shortening, and this is a massive grade of shortening. This happens, or this happens to a greater extent. It up to 80% the muscle would contract. So this is more severe. This is a more severe defect. So although shortening is less in a muscle attached to skeleton, condition results in a tough meat and heavy drip losses. This means that the muscles which are attached to a bone, they would go through less shortening. Lekin jo muscles which are lying freely, they're not attached to bone because bone is not holding them back, they would shorten more. And this results in a tough meat, because whenever a muscle is contracting, okay, so your this thing, the exudate would go out and the meat would be there is no moisture left in meat, so you will get chewy meat, you will get tougher meat, rubbery some meat, and heavy drip losses. Drip losses are the exudates which come out of meat, raw meat. Okay. Achha, this is very important point that you need to remember. Always, this is often asked in ASRB net also. Always thaw meat under refrigeration temperatures. If I have deep frozen meat at -80 or -20, when I'm going to use that meat, I will always keep it in refrigeration temperatures. That is 4 to 7 degrees Celsius. I will thaw it. I will not thaw it in room temperature. So you will not thaw it. This may be quite possible. This water is having temperature of 20 or 25 degrees Celsius, or maybe 35 degrees Celsius. So you will not thaw it in water. You will thaw it in ice or refrigeration temperatures. Slowly you will thaw the meat at refrigeration temperatures. This is a very important question because people do not know the answer to the question that how we have to thaw the meat or where we have to thaw the meat. You will always thaw the meat in refrigeration. Give me a moment, please. I'll just have some water. Okay. Understood so far? Do you have any doubt till here, dear students?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. Okay, this is another meat quality parameter, thiobarbituric acid value. This shows rancidity in meat. Only the full form you need to remember. And what is TBA? It measures the amount of malonaldehyde. Malonaldehyde is a compound, it is a metabolite which is produced during oxidation of fats, lipid peroxidation. When it occurs in foods, then this TBA is produced. So thiobarbituric acid reactive substances we check. TBA is just a test to detect rancidity in meat or in any food product for that matter. Okay. So as the meat will become rancid, your TBA value would increase. That is, and what is produced? Malonaldehyde is produced. Only this thing you need to remember out of this slide. Then a tyrosine value. Again, tyrosine value increases during storage. And this is an indicator of spoilage of meat. So this is another meat quality parameter which can be adjudged or measured or determined to know about the spoilage index of meat. So higher the tyrosine value, higher your meat is. And this TBA is associated with fats. That means it detects the rancidity of fats. And your tyrosine, it is associated with proteins. It detects the rancidity. It reflects proteolysis. It is an indicator of proteolysis. उसमें lipid peroxidation को indicate करता है TBA. This indicates proteolysis. That proteins are being denatured. Now muscle is being broken down. ठीक है. Now we are coming to my most favorite topic, DFD and PSC. Is everybody alert and listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
अब यहाँ पे सोना नहीं है बिल्कुल भी, ठीक है, बिकॉज यहाँ वो होगा नजर हटी दुर्घटना घटी. ठीक है, हम एक लाइन अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे. And wherever you get any doubt, you're going to stop me and I'm going to repeat myself or try and clear your doubts. Okay. So PSC and DFD meats are again two defects or two conditions which we do not want in meat. ठीक है. PSC and DFD meats they are undesirable. जैसे cold shortening and thaw rigor were undesirable. Kirti, which is more severe shortening, thaw rigor or cold shortening? Which is more severe in nature, beta?
Can you just repeat the question, ma'am, once more?
Which shortening is more severe in nature? Cold shortening or thaw rigor? Which has more contractions?
Thaw rigor, I think.
Thaw rigor, yeah, you're correct. Thaw rigor, up to 80% shortening occurs in that.
Okay, ma'am.
And in your cold shortening, it's only 40%. And plus there is a difference also. Thaw rigor में while thawing means bringing to room temperature. So while thawing, the shortening will occur. And in cold shortening, while chilling or while subjecting it to cold temperatures, the shortening will occur. So these are self-explanatory. I hope you understand. Do not be confused
Yes,
between
ma'am.
those two.
Yes,
Okay, so now will understand what is DFD and what is PSC. PSC commonly affects pigs, but ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि किसी और species में नहीं होता है, but mostly it occurs in pigs. PSC stands for pale, soft, exudative or exudate, and DFD it is dark, firm, and dry. PSC, although it is common in pigs, but has been reported in turkey and at times in some muscles of beef like longus muscle or thigh muscle at times, but mostly pigs. PSC stands for pale, soft, exudate or exudative meat. DFD is dark, firm, dry. Dry, firm, dark नहीं करना है. First dark, then firm, then dry. ठीक है? So we'll understand these terms in detail now. So first I'm coming to dark, firm, and dry meat. Can you see the picture? Here you can see this meat is not looking good. It is dark and it is undesirable. So what happens in DFT? Dark from firm dry meat results from the very first bullet I'm reading, from exhaustion and thus from a depletion of glycogen before slaughter. Animal is exhausted. This is a chronic condition. Long term stress जब होगा animal में, there will be no glycogen reserve. आपकी body में कोई reserve नहीं बचेगा. ठीक है? And when rigor mortis is there, or whenever the conversion of muscle to meat is there, glycogen reserves, they are being activated, and then lactic acid is being produced, right? So that lactic acid cycle is activated, but there is no glycogen in these, so no lactic acid formation would be there. So the pH would remain high because acid ही नहीं बनेगा इसमें क्योंकि glycogen ही नहीं है. So this is a high pH condition. So I'm coming to the second bullet now. This causes high pH value. क्यों हो गई भाई high pH value? Because there is no glycogen, hence no lactic acid formation. When the animal is subjected, when the post slaughter, there is no lactic acid formation, and as a result the meat has an enhanced capacity to hold water. Now dark, firm, dry meat has higher water holding capacity. It is not letting out water because it has, with this meat is firm in nature, ये hold करके रखता है water को, which gives it a dry and sticky texture. Dry in the sense बाहर पानी नहीं आया है, that is why dry. Sticky means it's holding its structure, the meat is sticking to itself. Now the third bullet point, such meat is aesthetically unacceptable. देखो ना, देखने में सुंदर नहीं लग रहा है, so it is aesthetically unacceptable to many consumers, and bacterial growth is difficult to prevent even under stringent sanitary conditions. Now why bacterial growth is difficult to prevent? Because there is more water in this meat. More water, more nutrients for bacteria to grow, higher water activity, more water is available for the microbes to enhance or support them. So bacteria, they love this kind of meat. That is why this meat is having poor keeping quality. Understood? And so we come to the fourth point. Thus the meat, even when vacuum packaged, has poor keeping quality and a low palatability. Poor keeping quality because there is higher water content, so higher microbial load, and lower palatability because this meat is firm, this is sticky in nature, from outside it's dry, and aesthetically it is not looking good, so it is undesirable. I'll repeat all the points again. Animal is subjected to chronic stress. उस animal बेचारा stress में सारा खत्म हो गया है. उसके कोई, that body is like a skeleton only. There are no reserves, no fat reserves, no glycogen reserves, no nothing. So what happens is that lactic acid formation is not there post slaughter. All entire ATP is depleted and immediately the rigor would come. So the pH drop ही नहीं आता है इसमें, because when acid is produced, then only na pH drops. Whenever the pH is whenever the conditions are turning acidic, the pH goes towards acidic sides. Acid towards acidic side means low pH, but इसमें तो acid नहीं है ना, जब भी high pH रहता है. Ultimate pH of muscle is 5.5, but इस case में this remain, and the pH of muscle is 6.5, right? अब muscle से 6.5 pH से the pH is supposed to come down to 5.5, इसमें नहीं आता है. इसमें the drop is very less, it comes to 6.2 only, 6.2, 6.3. This is the pH of DFD meat. ठीक है, are you understanding guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt, you're going to stop me in between and I will repeat. ठीक है, so this is what happens in dark, firm,
मैम
dry.
6.5 pH किसका बोला आपने?
मसल, लाइव मसल जो होता है ना उसका 6.5 pH होता है बेटा.
And
अगर
5.5?
ultimate pH of meat, once muscle has been converted to meat post slaughter, these are very important questions. These you should know. So ultimate pH of meat is 5.4, 5.5, 5.4 ऐसा. The range is 5.3 से 5.5. Best answer in objective is 5.5. Ultimate pH of meat is 5.5. अब हम चाह रहे हैं कि 6.5 से जो जिंदा मसल है उससे ड्रॉप करके 5.5 तक आ जाए, बट नहीं आएगा बिकॉज देयर इज नो लैक्टिक एसिड फॉर्मेशन. एसिड बनेगा नहीं तो पीएच कैसे ड्रॉप होगा? अंडरस्टूड? सो देयर इज हाई पीएच. So you all are going to remember that there is high pH in DFD meat, right? Then दूसरा, this is dark because the light reflect, सारी light absorb कर लेता है. It is firm because a lot of water is present in it. It is dry because outside it is not releasing any water, that is why it's dry. ठीक है. अब DFD meat का again हम दोबारा से all the steps पढ़ेंगे. What happens basically in a DFD meat? First, there is long-term stress prior to slaughter. This is chronic in nature. Chronic, you understand? Chronic means long-term. Acute मतलब एकदम से. जैसे आपको बुखार आता है ना, that is chronic. Sorry, that is acute. Suddenly you get fever, that is acute fever you're getting. But if you are malnourished, then I would say it is a chronic condition because it's a long-term condition. ठीक है. So long term stress prior to slaughter, बेचारा animal farm पे ही stress था पहले से. Then second is pre-slaughter glycogen depletion in muscle. There is before slaughter only there is no glycogen in muscle, resulting in meat with higher ultimate pH. Here you need to remember that ultimate pH of meat is 5.5, but in DFD it would be higher than 5.5. Then there is small extracellular space. Because small extracellular space because water is inside only, बाहर नहीं आया है. So extracellular space में there is not much water. Entire water is inside. Higher water holding capacity. Yes.
मैम ये पीएच वाला चीज एक और बारी एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए प्लीज.
हाँ जी, मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनना, ठीक है बेटा. क्या होता है एनिमल में, मेरी मसल है, अभी मैं जिंदा हूँ, so my muscle is having pH 6.5. that is muscle of pH of live muscle. ठीक है. अब जब when a person or an animal dies, उसमें ग्लाइकोजन रहता है. ठीक है, that is your reserve. Animal carbohydrate which is storing your energy additionally is glycogen. तो glycogen reserves रहते हैं हम में. Whenever the animal dies, we need ATP because animal is dead, there is no ATP. So glycogen is being broken down to synthesize ATP. In breaking down of glycogen, lactic acid is secreted. आपकी मसल में जब फटीग आता है, टांगे थक जाती हैं, वो क्या होता है? लैक्टिक एसिड बन रहा होता है, एनारोबिक साइकिल चलता है. So lactic acid is being formed whenever glycogen is utilized. Acid बनेगा तो pH को क्या होगा? pH को क्या होगा?
Reduce.
Reduce. Whenever the acid will be formed, the pH would drop because it will go towards acidic side. Now what is happening in an animal with DFD? We do not have glycogen because the animal was under long term stress. उसके glycogen reserves depleted हैं. So there is no lactic acid metabolism or less production of lactic acid. So कम acidic environment बनता है. So there is lesser drop in pH. It will not reach that ultimate pH of 5.5. Before that only, that pH would be stabilized at 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, depending upon how stressed the animal was or how low or how depleted the glycogen reserves were. Understood? So that is why there is high pH in DFD. समझ में आया?
मैम पीएससी में कितना होगा पीएच?
पीएससी में बेटा और ड्रॉप कर जाता है. It is less than 5.5. It comes to around 5.1, 5.2, 4.9 also at times. We'll be discussing that in the coming slides. ठीक है?
ओके.
अभी DFD में समझ आया आप लोगों को क्या चल रहा है? This is an important concept. You can ask me to repeat it n number of times. I'll repeat it n number of times. More than happy to. Anybody who wants me to repeat, I will repeat. बताओ समझ में आया? अभी आगे चलते हैं साथ के
Yes,
साथ.
ma'am.
If you do not understand, अभी I'll repeat this for 5-6 slides next. I'm going to discuss PAC and DFD only. Not going anywhere without making you understand this PAC and DFD. It's very important. Okay. So I'll make sure that you understand. So read the third point with me. Now there is small extracellular space because water is not escaping in this. So water extracellular space में नहीं आता है. Fourth point is there is higher water holding capacity. This is understood. Dark DFD meat रोक के रखता है पानी को. It will not allow the water to escape. There is higher water holding capacity of this meat. You see this slide. You remember this diagram now. With this one. You remember? This is DFD meat. It is not allowing the water to escape. This meat is given. So this is normal meat. Normal meat को RFN कहते हैं. Red firm non-exudative. So ये वाला, it's giving this much of exudate. PAC is giving so much of exudate, but this is not giving. मैं पानी नहीं निकालूंगा बाहर. This is DFD for you, right? Okay. So then amino acids are utilized due to glycogen depletion, right? Because there is no glucose, there is no glycogen. पहले ग्लूकोज टूटता है, पहले फैट्स टूटते हैं, वो है ही नहीं, तो विल कम टू, इसमें प्रोटोलाइसिस जल्दी होता है. So there is early proteolysis in this, and spoilage becomes evident at lower cell densities than in normal meat. See, DFD meat has poor keeping quality because it is not having glycogen, it is not having reserves which could be utilized. So this meat would break down sooner. This meat would be spoiled sooner because there is more water in it. Okay, so microbes would multiply. Secondly, there is less glucose and other metabolites which can be utilized first. प्रोटीन हर बार एंड में टूटता है. प्रोटीन का जो डिनेचुरेशन है बच्चों, ये लास्ट में होता है. तो प्यूट्रिफिकेशन हो रहा है या प्रोटोलाइसिस हो रहा है, मींस अब तो बिल्कुल टर्मिनल स्टेज है. तो इसमें जल्दी प्रोटोलाइसिस हो जाता है. सो दिस मीट हैज पुअर कीपिंग क्वालिटी. एवरीबॉडी नोज व्हाई. You have understood. I believe you have understood. If you have not, I'll repeat it again when you prompt me to. And by now I hope आपको समझ में आ गया DFD मीट में हाई pH क्यों है. ठीक है, अब आपको समझ में आ गया है DFD मीट का हायर वाटर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी क्यों है. आपको समझ में आ गया है DFD मीट का हायर स्पॉइलेज इंडेक्स क्यों है. समझ में आया है ना? मैं झूठा फेथ तो नहीं कर रही हूँ आप लोगों पे. You have understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't give me false yeses. It's all right. I am here for you only. I will repeat myself. More than happy to. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. I hope these are not fake yeses. I hope we are understanding. So moving on with an understanding that you are understanding. So spoilage occurs at an early stage. 6th point. This is understood. Then there is high variation in tenderness. This is an obsolete point. Let it be. इसमें tenderness vary कर जाएगा. Because depends firm कितना है, depends pH drop कितना आया है. Meat transmits more light into its depth. This means it absorbs more light. That is why it's dark. These are the properties of DFD that we are discussing. ठीक है? It transmits more light into its depth. Light इसमें डूब जाती है, तो वो बाहर नहीं आ पा रही है. That is why this is dark. Understood? Okay. This is dark in color. Self-explanatory. Oxygen is what? I don't like this toolbar only. Okay. So oxygen is used up by high cytochrome activity. ठीक है? इसमें जल्दी ऑक्सीजन का यूटिलाइजेशन हो जाता है because there is higher cytochrome activity. This you need to cram only. Then meat looks less red because it's darker. ठीक है? So this meat looks less red, so it is darker in nature. This is entire DFD for you. अब आपको DFD मीट में बातें याद रखनी है. DFD मीट का हाई pH है. DFD मीट का हाई वाटर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी है. DFD मीट की हाई स्पॉइलेज है. बट एक पॉजिटिव चीज जो DFD मीट के बारे में है, इट हैज अ बेटर प्रोसेसिंग एबिलिटी बिकॉज ये फर्म होता है ना मीट. दिस मीट इज फर्मर, so it stands a better chance against those meat choppers and meat mincers and cutting equipments. So processability of this meat is good. But what good is that processability because this meat will spoil soon. मैं प्रोडक्ट बना भी दूं इसका, मान लो if I make a patty or a sausage or anything out of this meat, it is going to retain its shape and hold because this meat is firm. but this meat is going to spoil soon. That is why it is undesirable. Understood? And plus it's darker, so aesthetically not good. Now we'll come to pale, soft, and exudative meat. This is the second type of meat. This is the exact opposite of DFD. If you've understood DFD, you will understand PSC, I'm sure. Okay, so what happens in pale, soft, exudative meat? This is a result of a rapid post-mortem pH decline. इसमें जल्दी से pH drop हो जाता है when the muscle temperature is too high. In that, pH was not dropping only. In this, immediately the pH will drop. I will tell you how. If the animal is under acute stress, acute means something which is of immediate nature. If there is a pig, if before slaughter I am beating it, if before slaughter these pigs are fighting with each other, they will be under acute stress. So the glycogen reserves, they already start depleting. Already the pH starts, already there is lactic acid formation in them. Already it's becoming acidic. And when the animal dies, the muscles will further, very quickly they'll start depleting the glycogen reserves. तो उसमें ज्यादा glycogen था, but it is quickly being depleted. So it drops the pH because there is so much of lactic acid accumulated. Whenever an animal is under acute stress, एकदम nature का जब stress आता है ना, so your body reacts accordingly. It produces a lot of acid because glycogen is being converted into lactic acid because of that lactic acid cycle, Cori cycle in liver. Again, I'm straying from the topic. So lactic acid would be produced in higher amounts. Glycogen would be depleted in higher amounts because there is glycogen. There is more glycogen and it is being depleted. There is more drop in pH because there is more acid. जितना acidic की तरफ जाएगा ना, तो उतना pH क्या होता जाएगा बच्चों? High or low?
Low.
Low. Very good. So this, okay. So this second point is this combination of low pH and high temperature because the animal is fighting and is charged up and is stressed. जब भी आप stress में होते हैं ना, आपकी body गर्म हो जाती है. Any kind of stress, physical, mental. Usually in human species we get mental stress only, but still you would see the hot flushes you can feel. So whenever your body is under stress, your temperature goes up because your homeostasis is disturbed. So this combination of low pH, you understand low pH, why it is happening. So I will not tell you again. Then high temperature because of the stress adversely affects muscle proteins, thus reducing their ability to hold water. The muscle proteins, they become dysfunctional. हमको पानी नहीं रखना है, तुम ले जाओ. So their ability to hold water is messed up. So the meat drips and is soft and mushy. Mushy means something which is very soft to touch and gentle. So the meat drips. Drips means it releases water as rain drips. So the meat drips and is soft and it's mushy and causing them to reflect light from the surface of the meat. That meat, DFD meat, was penetrating the light in itself. जैसे black hole सब absorb करते हैं, वैसे DFD was absorbing the light. This PSC is reflecting the light. Reflect करेगा तो meat shine करेगा. For example, if I am wearing a white dress and if I am wearing a black dress, so black dress would absorb the light, right? That would appear dark. If I'm wearing a white dress, that would reflect light. That is why it's paler, or that is why it's lighter, right? So what happens? Your PSC meat, that is why it's pale. वो आपको dark नहीं दिखता है meat. ठीक है? We'll read this point again. This combination of low pH क्यों? Because बहुत ज़्यादा lactic acid बन गया है इसमें. DFD में there was less formation of lactic acid because there was less glycogen. Here there is glycogen, it is immediately being utilized to form lactic acid at a very fast rate. Normal meat में this postmortem changes, they occur at a normal rate and slowly the pH drops to 5.5. In this, quickly the pH would drop because the animal is already stressed. So जल्दी राइगर आता है इसमें, ठीक है? So there is combination of low pH and high temperature adversely affects the muscle proteins. So muscle proteins are affected, they would lose water. The water would drip. So it drips, the meat becomes soft and mushy, and this meat also causes this drip also causes the water, the light to be reflected. So बाहर से meat dry नहीं होता है. Pale क्यों होता है? Because light reflect कर रहा है. Soft क्यों होता है? Proteins टूट गए हैं. Exudative क्यों है? Water hold नहीं कर पा रहा है. Understood? Now, the third point is PSC meat is especially problematic in pork industry. Most commonly, it's found in pigs because pigs, they fight with each other a lot. Pigs are fatty in nature. They have a lot of glycogen and they fight. And when they are being led to the slaughterhouse, so there are more chances of PSC to occur. नाउ देयर इज वन मोर थिंग कि पिग्स में क्यों पीएससी होता है. यहाँ पे एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट आएगा बच्चों. आई एम नॉट श्योर यू आर फेमिलियर विद दैट और नॉट. एक्चुअली पोर्साइन स्ट्रेस सिंड्रोम होता है एक. ठीक है, इट इज अ इनहेरिटेड कंडीशन. दिस इज अ हेरिटेबल कंडीशन. पीएसएस कहते हैं, पोर्साइन स्ट्रेस सिंड्रोम. अगर किसी पिग में वो बीमारी है या वो ये सिंड्रोम है, देन दैट पिग इज ऑलरेडी अंडर स्ट्रेस. उसको बेचारे को इन पहले से ही वो स्ट्रेस्ड है. उसको वो दैट इज प्रोन टू स्ट्रेस. थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेस आएगा ना तो उसकी बॉडी ज्यादा रिएक्ट करेगी स्ट्रेस को. दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय पोर्साइन स्ट्रेस सिंड्रोम. So it is an inheritable condition. So if a pig suffering from porcine stress syndrome, PSS, will have a higher chance of giving you PSC meat. You understood? अब since ये PSS syndrome जो है, this is genetic in nature, तो पहले क्या करते थे हम, there was this halothane gene. This is getting a bit technical, but this is just a side story to help you remember things better. PSS कैसे होता था, हम used to select जब when the piglets they are born, छोटे छोटे जब बच्चे होते हैं, तभी we select against this gene. हैलोथेन जीन अगर प्रेजेंट है तो मतलब उसमें PSS होगा. तो हम पहले ही हैलोथेन गैस में पिग्स को पास करते थे. एंड ऑल द पिग्स हु यूज्ड टू बिकम स्ट्रेस्ड अंडर दैट हैलोथेन गैस ना, तो वी यूज्ड टू से कि इसमें इसमें हैलोथेन जीन है, मतलब उसमें PSS है. PSS है, बाद में ये पिग जब बड़ा होगा, जब इसको स्लॉटर करेंगे तो ये PSC मीट देगा, तो पहले एलिमिनेट कर देते थे. तो PSC वाले PSS वाले पिग्स को ब्रीडिंग के लिए नहीं यूज करते थे. दिस इज जस्ट अ साइड स्टोरी. But PSS, you should know what is PSS. PSS, porcine stress syndrome, is a syndrome. It is a disease which is heritable in nature. ठीक है? So, and PSS means the pig would be already stressed. Would is more prone to stress. मतलब उसको एक थप्पड़ 10 थप्पड़ जितना लगता है. समझ रहे? So, pigs with PSS, they are more prone to PSC. So, we do not use pigs with PSS for breeding purposes. वरना वो सारा मीट आगे खराब कर देते हैं. Understood? So here
Yes,
is okay. So here is normal pH is 6.02 they have given. See, pH जो होता है, जैसे this is here they have taken a breast muscle of a chicken sort of. So यहाँ पे ना species wise ultimate pH vary कर जाता है, but you will write ultimate pH of meat as 5.5 only. ठीक है? And PSC में see this is comparatively lower pH. PSC में low pH रहता है, DFD में higher pH रहता है. ठीक है. Now again various points related to PSC meat. Short term stress prior to slaughter, समझ में आया? Acute stress देंगे हम, तभी PSC meat बनता है. ठीक है. Then there is accelerated rate of postmortem glycolysis. Glycolysis जल्दी जल्दी होता है. What is glycolysis? Conversion of glycogen into glucose. That is glycolysis, और उसमें lactic acid बनता है. तो accelerated rate जल्दी जल्दी होता है वो सब. Accelerated rate results in low pH while the carcass is still high. High means it's not high, it means the carcass is having high temperature. ठीक है. Then there is pale, lean and soft texture. Pale क्यों होगा बच्चों? ये light reflect करता है, इसलिए pale. We see it as lighter, हल्का दिखता है, because it's reflecting light. Lean because the glycogen reserves are depleted. ठीक है, तो इसमें fat content इसमें भी कम रहता है. Then soft texture. Soft क्यों हो जाता है? Because it's losing water, so it's not firm. जितना वाटर होगा उतना हमें फर्मनेस मिलता है. दैट इज व्हाई DFD इज फर्मर इन नेचर. ओके. 4th point, elevated muscle glycogen content. I have taken a lot of time on PSC and DFD. Elevated muscle glycogen content and an extended duration of postmortem glycolysis. इसमें muscle glycogen content higher रहता है और extended duration of postmortem glycolysis. Glycolysis ज्यादा देर तक चलता है. Glycolysis होता ही रहता है इसमें. That is why more acid is being produced. Then the proteins they denature here. ठीक है, proteins also denature. Large extracellular space because water is coming out. That is why large water is coming out in these extracellular spaces. So these spaces are increasing. In that there were low extracellular spaces. This is having low water binding capacity or water holding capacity because it's dripping the water. It is releasing the water. Then it scatters more light to the observer. ये तो समझ में आया आपको, है ना? Then there is reduction in absorption of green light by myoglobin. That is why, I mean, जितना green light रहते होते हैं तो redness आता होता है. So that is why this becomes pale and meat looks less red. ठीक है? This is a pale meat. This is a pale blob of meat, as you can see. मैं बढ़ जाऊं आगे? So this is how
Yes.
now you understand this slide why PSC is giving up so much of water, because it is having low water holding capacity. Why DFD is giving so less of water, because it is having high water holding capacity. ठीक है? So this meat is firm, this meat is soft. Kirti,
Yes, ma'am.
which meat is having high pH out of all three? Normal, DFD or PSC?
DFD. Is in DFD.
Okay, I asked Kirti. I'll be asking questions. Okay, Charan, you can mute yourself now. Okay, Kirti, you can also mute yourself now.
Okay, ma'am.
Tanu,
Yes, ma'am.
which meat is having higher this thing processing ability? Which meat is more suitable for
DFD.
processing? DFD. Why?
Because it holds more water.
Yes, it holds more. Be confident. It holds more water. हाँ, डरना थोड़ी है, गलत थोड़ी बोल रहा हूँ. It
Okay.
holds more water, तो ये firm रहता होता है. So it can it gives better resistance to those meat cutters and mincers and stuff. ठीक है? यहाँ पे a very important point that you all should remember that RFN बोलते हैं red firm or non-exudative meat को. That is why I have repeated this slide. ठीक है? Now PSC and DFD, this is for your further reading. This is for your further reading. वो जो मैं हैलोथिन वाली कहानी सुना रही थी, ठीक है? PSC can be trigger in halothane free animals. तो ये सब you can read for that. This is just additional reading. Okay, DFD meat, you need to remember that it is caused by long-term stress. Shailja,
Ma'am.
can you tell me which acute stress leads to which condition and the chronic stress leads to which condition?
Chronic state leads to PSC, madam. Acute DFD.
No, Shailja, you're highly mistaken right now.
Okay.
DFD, listen to me again, okay? I'll repeat myself again.
Okay.
Chronic stress hoga na, there will be no glycogen left in my body. So chronic stress, DFD, lambi bimari hai. Chronic stress leads to DFT, because in chronic stress you will not have glycogen reserves, so you will not have glycogen, so there will be no glycolysis. There will be no glycolysis, so there will be no acid. Less acid, I mean, and less acid means high pH. High pH means DFD. Understood? And in acute stress, there is more glycogen, there is more acid. More acid means there is low pH. So that means PSC.
Okay. ma'am.
Okay, Shailja. So understood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So DFD is also known as dark cutters. Dark cutters kuch nahi hai because they look darker in nature. So and they're tough to cut because they're firm. So DFD caused by shortage of glycogen and slaughter. You understand this long-term stress. Now Shailja also understands this. Now moving on. Without glycogen to convert to lactic acid. Now this is again an additional point for you to remember. Dekho, without enough glycogen to convert to lactic acid, because we do not have glycogen in DFD, the muscle pH stays high, closer to 7. Closer to 7 does not mean 7. Your muscle pH is 6.5. Okay? So it stays close to the living muscle pH only. That is 6.1, 6.2. इतना रहता होता है. Antemortem stressors cause DFE. Antemortem before postmortem, sorry, before the dying means antemortem stress. It leads to DFD. And the stress should be of chronic nature. Long-term stress होना चाहिए. Then it results in muscle too dark in color. This is just repetition for you so that you might understand. Results in muscle too dark in color, firm in texture, dry होता है surface पे. ठीक है? Is sweeter in nature. This because of higher water content. Now beef has most DFD problems. Beef में ज़्यादा DFD problems रहता है and it's rare in poultry. This you need to remember. This is how like normal meat looks and PSC is found in turkey also. This is just for you to see. कि pale, soft or exudative. ये firm लग रहा है ना meat. This is normal. This is PSC. Now this is the pH graph as you can see. DFD में देखो ना यहाँ से ड्रॉप करके इतना तक ही जाता होता है. ये 6.8 नॉर्मली ऐसे 7 के करीब दिया है इन्होंने पीएच, बट नॉर्मल मसल का पीएच 6.5 होता है. जो कोर बुक है मीट साइंस की, तो फॉरेन ऑथर से उससे मैंने लिया हुआ, तो 6.5 विल रिमेंबर. ठीक है. सो तो रिलेटिवली आप देख रहे हो पीएच ड्रॉप ज्यादा नहीं है, यहाँ पे स्टेबलाइज हो गया है ना, और हमारा नॉर्मल मसल का पीएच 5.5 पे जाके स्टेबलाइज हो रहा है, देख रहे हैं आप लोग, और पीएससी में इट इज ड्रॉपिंग हियर. Okay, so this is this graph you understand now, that why in DFT
Yes,
there
ma'am.
is less drop. In normal there is more drop, ultimate pH up to 5.5, and here immediately it will drop faster and less than 5.5, 5.1, 2, 3, up to this the PSC meat will go. So these are the conditions, and meet with, so this you can read again, these are the values and repetition of what I've taught only. Actually I lost track of time, it's 9:01 already, I have a lot to teach yet. Are you guys bored? Or like you're still with me? नींद तो नहीं आ रही?
We are still with you, ma'am.
मुझे बता देना एक. Monica, where is my favorite Monica? Monica, are you there? Wow, Monica has left the meeting. I didn't realize only. Monica को मैंने offend कर दिया आज क्लास में शायद. Okay. So condition में PSC में बेटा आप लोगों के पास जब स्लाइड्स आएंगी ना, आप ये लोग रीड करना, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. दिस आई हैव ऑलरेडी टॉट. ओके, मैं आधा पौना घंटा इसीलिए मैंने DFT और PSC पे बात किया कि इसमें कंफ्यूजन नहीं आना है. My students will never make the mistake of saying that which is high and which is low pH. They should not make blunders of confusing between the pH of the two meats, between the spoilage of two meats, between the keeping quality of two meats. ठीक है, between the processing abilities, you exactly know what is DFD and PSC. ठीक है. Now this is just a picture just to show you how normal meat looks, and then this is further table for your reading. आपको वैल्यूज देने के लिए आप लोग इसको पढ़ सकते हैं, डिफरेंसेस पूछ सकते हैं. दिस हैज बीन टॉट ऑलरेडी, दिस इज एडिशनल. Okay, now this slide here, only the thing I want to discuss is RFN, reddish, pink, firm and non-exudative. This is the normal meat. PSC and DFT you understand, and why, what they stand for. RFN कहीं एग्जाम में दिखेगा तो डरना नहीं है, हमने पढ़ा ही नहीं है. This is your normal meat, reddish, firm and non-exudative. ठीक है. Now this is how PSC and normal meat and your DFD meat looks. ठीक है. Then again, these are comparative pictures only. So now, and this is the Ramban slide on PSC and DFD. This is all the concepts given in a single slide. You go through these, you will read these and you will understand this because I have already taught this. ठीक है. But this is for your reading. I wanted to give you enough material on PSC and DFD so that कभी confusion ना आए जिंदगी में PSC DFD में. ठीक है. So can I move to my next topic, which that is a very easy peasy topic. But did we understand that these conditions, factors affecting meat quality, all the factors, color, your marbling, your everything, and your DFD and PSC in journal, understood?
Yes, ma'am.
मैं पूछ लूंगी पलट के ना फिर. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़े. बोलो, आगे बढ़ लूं मैं, पढ़ा दूं थोड़ा सा और पढ़ लेंगे मैं.
Yes, ma'am.
ऐसा ओवर तो नहीं हुआ है ना अभी तक?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then that's good. So it's a lovely bunch of students I have. Okay, so moving on, microbial factors influencing keeping quality of meat. Keeping, this is exactly the heading given in your this thing, your ASRB net syllabus. So this is the topic we'll be discussing today. So microbial factors में major cause of any food spoilage, this you might have read in previously also and under various headings also. तो मुझे जो meat के sense में important लगेगा ना, only that I'll be discussing. Rest because I know you guys already know. So there are major causes of food spoilage: the physical, chemical, microbial and other miscellaneous. So physical में you know temperature, RH, light, mechanical damage, कुछ भी हो सकता है, then your food is spoiled. Then chemical में some chemical may lead to rancidity or other interactions and stuff. And here the thing that I am interested in today's lecture is the microbes which are affecting the meat quality, the bacteria, yeast and molds, and others may the vermins and all they come. So we'll be taking up microbes which are important from meat point of view. So they can be broadly classified into two types of microbes. First, which are spoilage microbes. We will be taking them in detail. So before that, I would want to discuss the food poisoning microbes. ठीक है, फूड पॉइजनिंग आपने सुना होगा ना, बेसिकली फूड पॉइजनिंग जो पैथोजेनिक माइक्रोब्स होते हैं which are causing diseases in you, they lead to food poisoning. Now here another confusing term comes is the foodborne diseases. So there are foodborne diseases also, and then there is food poisoning. Food poisoning and foodborne diseases are different because when you contract a foodborne disease, there is fewer number of microbes is required. For example, in your this thing, Campylor, Listeria, E. coli, थोड़ा सा ही microbe का inoculation बहुत होता है to cause a disease. Then they have a very short incubation period. Incubation period, you understand? Incubation period is the period from entry of virus or any microbe into our body and to the exhibiting of the symptoms. So from entry to the clinical symptoms, that period, that delay is known as incubation period. So foodborne diseases, they have very short incubation periods. Period. I mean, you'll engulf, ingest, or eat the this thing, any microbe, and immediately in a very short incubation period, you will get the symptoms. Food poisoning, on the other hand, it needs millions of bacteria. You need higher number of bacteria to be present in that food substance, or bacteria or its toxins for that matter. Then it has longer incubation period. And for examples of food poisoning, we'll go to the next slide where I've given a proper table. So these are all the pathogenic bacteria that you will find in meat animals. And this table, you just need to be well versed with these pathogens. These are pathogens. एक होता है spoilage. There is difference. Spoilage microbes, they will not cause disease. But pathogenic microbes, they will cause disease. They will make you sick. If you eat meat infected or contaminated with these microbes, then you're going to carry the disease forward. Okay? So the bacteria which are important from meat point of view are Salmonella species. Its source is gut of the animals. Gut harbors a plethora of microbes, and mostly whenever there is contamination of meat, GIT contamination only leads to this meat contamination. या fecal contamination leads to contamination of meat. So gut को ना बहुत ध्यान से रखना पड़ता है. Whenever we are slaughtering the animal, we always make sure that intestine from the esophagus to the rectum, it is tied off and it is separated अलग से, so that the contents are not spilled. Because if GRT contents are spilled over the carcass, then all the microbes, there's millions and millions and zillions of microbes, they will come in contact with the muscle, and then your meat would be contaminated and not hygienic for you, and you'll contract some disease. ठीक है, so always GIT के content spill नहीं होने देना होता है whenever you're slaughtering a food animal. So Salmonella, Staphylococcus aureus. Staph is one bacteria which is present on the skin, which is very superficial. So on the skin, nose, in fact, the meat handlers also can be source of staph. So staph, you need to watch out for staph because it is present in the environment commonly. Then there is Clostridium. Again, the source is gut. For Clostridium botulinum, the spores might be present in the soil. For others, Campylor, Listeria, Escherichia, and for Yersinia, again, the source is gut of the animals. You just need to have a glance at the names, and so that whenever they pop up somewhere in the exams, you can take these as pathogenic microbes. Okay. Again, when we'll be discussing various meat preservation techniques in the lectures to come, then we'll take up what exactly this Clostridium botulinum does, what exactly this perfringens does. So don't worry, you'll be able to answer the questions based on these microbes. For today, you only need to have a bird's eye view of what are the microorganisms that are causing the spoilage or contamination of meat. So हमने अभी discuss किया बच्चों contamination of meat, that is poisoning or pathogenesis of meat. अब आएंगे the spoilage bacteria. These are the ones that I'll be taking up in a bit detail. So microbial spoilage, which all animals, microbes they cause. So bacteria, yeast, and molds are the major cause of food spoilage. There's a difference between spoilage and pathogenesis. I hope you have understood. Then they produce various enzymes that decompose the various constituents of food. कुछ नहीं करेंगे ये लोग, they'll prepare metabolites that will denature your food. So molds are the major causes of spoilage with reduced water activity. Molds can survive in harsh conditions. This you know already. So in dry cereals and cereal products, molds are the problem. You'll get moldy cereals at times because molds can live in low water activity conditions. Bacteria spoil foods with relatively higher water activity, such as milk and other products. ठीक है. Now, how does microbial growth and metabolism adversely affect food? Now the coming slides are very easy, so it's all right. You can sit back and relax. If something genuinely comes up which you do not understand it at all, then you can stop me in between. Otherwise, all this is very self-explanatory. Acha? So visible growth दिख जाए आपको, then you can say that the meat is spoiled. Volatile end products produce odor. The off smelling or the pungent smell or the obnoxious smell that you'll be getting, that would be because of volatile end products. Then oxidation of pigmented products can change color change would be there. Breakdown of tissue may lead to texture change. So how do we know that the meat is spoiled? It will have a bad odor, it will have an off color, it will have a poor texture. Then production of dextran and shear numbers can produce slime. Dextran is a sugar, or shear number means the multiplication only of the microbes can lead to formation of biofilms. तो slime formation हो जाता है, एक biofilm जैसा बन जाता है, चिकना सा हो जाता है. This is slime. Then water can be released. This is purge. When from inherent tissue water is exudated out, अगर बिना microbes के आ रहा है, that is drip. And other tissue खराब होने की वजह से आ रहा है, that is known as purge. And then also there can be gas production. These are the indicators of microbial spoilage. ठीक है? Moving on. So major microbial causes of food spoilage. So the common bacteria, these are the common bacteria which are there in present in meat and meat products, and these are the common spoilage fungi. So I'll quickly name these. So these are Pseudomonas, Acinetobacter, Moraxella, Micrococcus, Staph, Coliform, Leuconostoc, Shewanella. ठीक है? Then Lactobacillus, Calligens, Clostridium, Proteus, Bacillus, Xanthomonas. These are various microbes. These are the bacteria. हमें ना इतना याद रखना है कि इनमें से बैक्टीरिया कौन सा और इनमें से फंजाई कौन सा है. ठीक है? एंड द कॉमन स्पॉइलेज फंजाई आर Rhizopus, Mucor, Aspergillus, Penicillium, Alternaria, Botrytis. ठीक है? So fungi can grow in acidic and low moisture environments. Meat, this bacteria, they need to grow. They grow in high moisture environments. They need higher water activity or higher water holding capacity. But fungi, they can grow like molds in harsh conditions also. Acha. So these are this table you need to learn, dear students. I cannot help you in this. आपको बस एक बारी याद तो करना पड़ेगा that putrefaction कौन कौन सा बैक्टीरिया करता है, souring कौन सा बैक्टीरिया करता है, ठीक है, मोल्डी फ्लेवर कौन देता है, souring, slimy, ये fresh meats में ये करते हैं, vacuum pack में ये करते हैं. I mean, this is I can only supply you material. You have to do the work in this because there is nothing to make you understand here. It's all there in this slide. So you while reading this line, what you do is fresh meat के दो बैक्टीरिया याद कर लेना. That will be enough. ठीक है? And for cured meat also, like you remember one or two, like slimy Leuconostoc, this is important. Then sour greening is important. Carnobacterium, Leuconostoc does greening also in vacuum packed meat. This is important from ASRB net point of view. This vacuum packaged meats, the microbes which are causing havoc or whichever problematic in vacuum packaged products. This was asked during my time, so any two options you can click. So and then poultry this also you need to read. Then this is important. Black rot, fungal rot, colorless rot, green rot, ये सब पूछते होते हैं eggs में. When I'll be teaching you the eggs वाला portion, then also I will be repeating these microbes. But usually, I mean, these questions are asked. Green rot is caused by, colorless rot is caused by, black rot is caused by, fungal rot is caused by. So this you need to remember. These two slides are important from examination point of view. And this is the one concept building slide, but I know that you know all this already. So I'll just quickly tell you the factors affecting microbial growth in food. Intrinsic factors means which are inside the food, that is hydrogen ion or pH of the food, low pH foods, high pH foods, moisture content, low moisture content foods, high moisture content food, intermediate moisture content food. This nutrient content of the food कि अगर उसमें ज़्यादा carbs हैं, ज़्यादा fat हैं, तो ज़्यादा chances are acidity के. No fat, lesser fats means lesser chances of lipid peroxidation. Then antimicrobial substances, if like curcumin is present in haldi, or for example this thing any other natural antimicrobial is present in food, then that also slows down the microbial growth. And biological structures like pericarp is there in fruits, or outer covering is there, or if like skin is there in meat tissue, if we are having skin, so it cuts the interaction of the environment with the main food product. So these are the factors which affect the intrinsic growth in animals. ठीक है, sorry, of the microbes. इसमें तो कोई डाउट वाला बात नहीं है ना, तो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम होपिंग दैट दीज आर सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी, सो आई एम जस्ट कीपिंग दीज. ठीक है. Then extrinsic factors में your temperature, your the gases which are present, your relative humidity, these are the factors which affect. So the name of the factors, extrinsic and intrinsic, only names are required, so this you can read. Acha. Now again this table you will be reading, and this table you will be remembering, because questions can be asked from this. So fresh meats and poultry, which are the problematic microbes, which are gram positive, which are gram negative, you just read and try and remember, like cram as many as possible. अब इसमें ना ये यहाँ पे जो types of spoilage है ना, now this table is the most important table, like take my word on this. From here one question or so you'll get whiskers in meat is caused by Thamnidium elegans, white spot in meat is caused by Sporotrichum carnis, this is very, black spot is caused by Cladosporum herbarum, this is very 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 important. These questions are asked in exam, and take my word for it. So this table at any cost, the other tables you can like take a reading and let it sink in your subconscious brain, but this you need to ratify, cram, do whatever you have to. These conditions you are not going to make blunders in these, because these are asked in exam. ठीक है. ये slide बहुत important है, I am repeating myself. Sliminess, green sour, whiskers, white spot, black spot, stinker, off odor, ये पूछते होते हैं. और मैं मॉक टेस्ट डालूंगी तो भर भर के ये वाले क्वेश्चंस डालूंगी. सो you need to be well versed with these conditions. These are important. These you'll only find in meat. These organisms you'll only find in meat, so they're important from meat point of view. Okay. Then microorganisms associated with different types of food. This table you can just give it a read and go. And for conclusion, the only thing for in the microbial spoilage I would say is that spoilage of meat occurs whenever food is kept at favorable conditions for growth of microorganisms, and spoilage causing organisms are aerobic and anaerobic, so accordingly their properties are different. And yeast and mold growth occurs whenever RH is low, RH is high. So harsh conditions, in harsh conditions your yeast and mold will grow. So any questions? Like this brings me to the end of today's topic. So any questions or any doubts if you are
No,
having?
ma'am.
I not see. So any questions or any doubts if you're having, I'll be more than happy to take up your doubts right now, or anything that you would want to discuss, because we still have 10-12 minutes to spare.
Ma'am, this was very precise in theory. So we have means according to me, I have understand, and I'll read to the notes, and after that, if I get any queries, I'll ask.
Yeah, what we'll do is next time, Kirti, in the beginning of the class, so 5 to 10 minutes I will spare for taking up your doubts initially. So that
Okay,
is what
ma'am. This
can
will be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you do is you go to this PPT. In fact, the slides which I've given, I've mentioned for further reading. So those slides also you go through, and in fact, in that also, if you have any doubt, then do ask. And wherever you find, see in my presentations, if you see some blue star, or if you see something is underlined or in a different color, you need to remember that. Unnecessary cheezein,
Okay,
even I tend to skip. Did you understand this DFD and PSC concept अच्छे से?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But we'll revise it once more.
Yeah, you revise, and
Yeah.
I will not have any problem in repeating also again if you want, because ये वाला concept was zaruri. That is why like I wanted to take more time in teaching this. And cut up parts, only names you need to remember, and the introductory slide of every cut up part, that that contains a few objective questions which have been already highlighted. So anybody else, any doubt or anything like that, please, or any suggestion?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
ओके, तो आज का लेक्चर हमें समझ में आया है। हम अगले हफ्ते आएंगे तो हम अच्छे से पढ़ के आएंगे, क्योंकि हम पहले 5 मिनट डिस्कशन करेंगे। ठीक है? ठीक है
Okay,
शैलजा?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the Shelja, the very first question that I'll be putting up to you is about pH and pH of DFD and PSC meet when we meet next time. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. So with that, I would like to end today's class with your permission, and you guys can go and have your dinner and come back for the next class, which is at night. So good luck, and yeah, you can leave the meeting if you want to. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night, dear students. Bye.
Bye.